So, how to not be a people pleaser. And this is coming from a formal people pleaser myself. Let me give you guys a backstory of my life. Up until, I would say, when I was 19, I used to be a hardcore people pleaser. It started around childhood. That was just my natural way of navigating through life. That was my natural way of connecting with people, talking to them, and basically trying to get on their good side. I would do certain things like avoid conflict. So, in life, you want to reach your goals. Obviously, you maybe have set goals in the past. You've wrote some goals in the beginning of the year, let's say in 2023, and you're trying to reach them. And let's say if they're big goals, like some might say, I want to own a company. Some might say, oh, I want to be an influencer. I want to be a YouTuber, or whatever the case is. You cannot do it all by yourself. Now, I know some of you might prefer that method, just like me, how I used to think, okay, I can do everything myself because it's the most comfortable way of doing things. But in life, you need to realize that in order to reach to the top and reach there effectively and also have fun in the process, is you need other people to reach you, to make you reach to the top. Let's say if you want to get a promotion or something, your boss has to like you and your coworkers have to like you. You can move up the scale and eventually maybe you'll reach the top of a company. So you can't do it all by yourself. Now, a little backstory about me. I used to be a hardcore people pleaser. Around when I was 16 years old, I would constantly avoid conflict. I was just kind of spineless when it came to people making fun of me. I would just let it slide and just like, and it sounds like I was doing the bigger thing, and the media likes to portray it. Oh, the guy who is quiet and doesn't say anything, he's winning. He's a good guy. Um, but it wasn't like I was not taking it in. I would take it in, bring it home, and for weeks and weeks after that, I would just think about that moment in interaction and just like self deprecate. You freaking piece of. And just like talk down to myself and just go into this negative feedback loop of just like constantly saying like, oh wow, you're just a wuss. You're just a guy who doesn't like have any backbone to him, or whatever the case is. You might have experienced this yourself as well, where you just feel awkward when people are just making fun of you. You just don't know what to do, so you just stare and just like kind of smile, and hopefully they'll eventually stop it at some point. And some people just don't, just they keep going and keep going. And then you go home, and then you think about that interaction, and then you think about it more, and you're like, I could have said something. I could have not let the bully get to me, or maybe fought back. The next stage in my life was what I like to call the goofy stage. And this happened around when I was 19, 19 years old to 20. What happened was I was the butt of the joke, and I accepted it and embraced it. And it might sound a little bit better than the other one, like the stage before, but this is just as bad because I would just like embrace it. And as a defense mechanism, I would make fun of myself constantly so people don't make fun of me. And it will work because, um, well, people didn't feel like the need to make fun of me anymore. So I was just doing it myself. So I had this friend group at the time when I was 19, 20 years old. And in this friend group, I would act like a total goof. I would just constantly like act super dumb and just like act weird, and like it would get reactions out of people and it would make people more comfortable towards me. But as I was still the butt of the joke. I was still, in a way, spineless because even though I'm making it to myself, it's not the right way to do it. And this was one of my methods of attracting a girl or something. I would just like act like a goof. That was my riz. And I thought it would work because I was making the girls laugh, and I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but yeah, they're just laughing at you. I would always refrain to this old saying of like, "Oh, just make people laugh and they'll like you," or "make girls laugh and they'll like you." And it's not that simple because being funny is related to intelligence in a way. Acting dumb can get you laughs, but they're just laughing at you. That's the hard truth about being goofy and like the class clown or whatever the case is. Although I was making people like me, to what extent? I'm gonna explain to you guys the next stage in my life, which there was a certain thing that happened in my life where I completely switched up. And I mean, at the time, I was consuming a lot of red pill content and just like embrace masculinity and all that stuff. I became totally resentful towards these past two stages in my life, up to a point where I was like, hell no, I am not associating with that person. And I would just constantly resent it, up to a point where I became super stoic. And if you know what this type of person looks like in parties, he doesn't like to have fun and stuff. He's kind of like just super serious all the time, never kind of making jokes, kind of like serious all the time. And I saw a lot of people like kind of not connecting. I wasn't connecting with a lot of people anymore in this stage. And although it was more productive and I was getting some self respect and everything, and people were a little bit more scared of me, I lost that good quality of being like slightly charismatic with the past two stages. In all of these stages, I'm not saying one is bad, one is good. It's just that they all had certain elements and certain pros and cons to each stage, is what I'm trying to say. The current stage I am in really influenced me after I read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. What do I like to call this stage? It's called the Persuasion Stage. In this stage in my life, I um, realized certain things about people. And if you read this book, you'll realize a lot of the stuff it's saying, it's really people pleasing. So it's not a good book if you're a people pleaser, because most likely you're already doing all of these things. But I like to, after reading this book, in the first few chapters, I was like, this is just, this is just people pleasing. Why am I doing this? After, like, it took me a few chapters and like to realize, oh, there's a deeper message to this book, and it's that, yeah, in order to navigate and realize you need to go up in life, there's certain things and certain people, and people are kind of like all in their heads, and they care more about themselves than they do towards others. So once you realize that aspect, life becomes much more simpler to navigate because you're not people pleasing. You're just trying to navigate it in the best method possible. Now, in this stage, I'm making a lot more friends. I'm meeting a lot more people. And basically the persuasion stage is instead of forcing someone, instead of overly being nice to someone, what is the best method I could use to get them give me what I want? And that is the persuasion stage. Within every interaction, not say every interaction because you guys could overcomplicate this and make this into a big deal. Just remember this one saying. Instead of forcing someone to do something, ask yourself, how can I make them want to do it? And that's just the premise of getting into the persuasion stage. Now, let me give you guys an example of what I mean by the stage. So, the other day, I canceled my boxing subscription. I had a year contract for boxing, and I couldn't cancel it unless I had a big reason, like I'm gonna move out of the state or something. So, I wanted to cancel this, but not go into force because usually that's what people tend to do. They're like, oh, at first they're like very spineless. They're like scared to do it. And then they enter the stage of just like force, like the Karen stage almost, where you just go in and you just try to make it possible, like be mean to the manager and just be mean to the staff and everything and try to get what you want. And I've seen those people in real life. They get what they want usually. But when they leave the room, everybody hates them. Everybody's calling them a Karen. Everybody. But let's say a guy comes in and he just persuades. He just gets what he wants, makes people like them, gets out, and then the next time they come, they even like him more. How does this guy do it? Well, some people, it comes naturally to them. For me, I had to learn this, and I still have to work on this to master it really. The boxing example. Back to the boxing example. With the boxing, I had around 2 more months left in order to cancel my subscription and basically get laid off or just like, and right now I'm struggling with a little bit of money problems and money issues. So I really needed to cancel it earlier. And I thought, well, I could go in and just like be assertive really and just like get it done. But is that the best way to do it? No, there's a better way to do it. I started like this. I called him up. I was like, bloop, 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 bloop. I wait for the phone to ring, and then I started speaking to him. And he was like, how's it going? I was like, how you doing? This is Armin. If you remember me from past, I haven't been in boxing since, it's been like 2 months since I've not been into boxing. And I spoke a little bit about my issues and everything and the struggles I'm going through at the moment. And I made a compliment to him. I gave him a compliment. I said, I love how you guys run the staff there. I love the gym. It's great. Every single time I go there, I'm motivated and everything. And then he just immediately took it in. He was like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And then I told him my struggle and everything. And I said, I don't know if you know, I'm currently struggling with certain things and I'm having money issues and all this stuff. If we can, any way possible for him, try to like cancel this subscription earlier, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. And he did it. Well, there was also another issue with, so it wasn't quite as like successful as I wanted to be because there was still 2 months left and I want both months to be canceled and everything. But he really tried his best and he tried to cancel 1 month. And the other month, because I wasn't early enough and everything, they had this blah 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 decision. They said, okay, I really tried to do both, but he just one was enough. He canceled 1 month of the subscription. Like he canceled it 1 month earlier. And what did I get out of this? Well, it wasn't like 100% successful, but I got 50% of it done. I made the person like me. The next time I go, he's probably gonna still like open up and start to talking to me and connect with me more. And it's better. This method is just better. Now, I'm giving this advice to basically my younger self or like teenagers watching or people just like experiencing the same situation as I have in the past. If you are a teenager and you've experienced something similar to mine, leave a comment down below of your experience. I would love to read it and maybe help you out. In conclusion, if you want the best results in a large network of people and move up higher and make it fun and effective, you gotta know that you gotta work with people. You gotta be on their good side and everything. And don't use the people pleasing stage. Don't use the goofy stage. Use the persuasion stage. Something to remember. And see you guys.